Headline in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution this morning, Cheating Our Children. The newspaper examined test results for 69,000 schools in 49 states. They found high concentrations of suspect scores in about 200 school districts, including some here in Oregon. ABC correspondent Steve Osunsami joining us. Steve, you've looked at this. This analysis doesn't necessarily prove cheating, but it's found troubling patterns in hundreds of cities. Explain that to us, if you would.
Well, the AJC essentially says that they've created what is essentially a blood test for cheating by looking at hard numbers and statistical probabilities of improvement. And they say that they've created a blood test for cheating and that many of these school districts failed. In most of these cases, they said of the 3,000 school districts across the country, 196 had suspicious scores where the AJC in their investigation thought it was statistically improbable that one, for example, fourth grade class would pass a standardized test with flying colors one year, and then the next year where the test wasn't as important, they would all fail. And so they were able to look at these scores across the country, and they based it on what happened here in Atlanta, where a similar uncovering of these results uncovered a huge cheating problem in Atlanta.
Give us the top three cities on the list in terms of, well, I say top three, but that would be the worst three, right?
Right. The worst three cities on the list that I have here are Mobile County School District in Alabama, Los Angeles Unified School District in California, and then, of course, Atlanta City Schools here in Georgia. But Portland does have a school district in the top three. It's Portland City Schools. It's number 24. And there are also three other school districts that have at least in 1 or 2 years had suspiciously high scores. Park Rose, David Douglas, and Centennial in the Portland area. For example, in Centennial, the Centennial School District in 2010, 11% of the classes were flagged as having suspicious scores. And by suspicious, again, they mean that the scores are artificially high, that there's no probable way that those scores could have increased by any other means besides error or cheating. And they put the chances of these scores improving in this way in some instances as 1 in a billion.
Steve, hasn't this report reignited the national debate over standardized test scores? I mean, a lot of people debate that issue time and time again.
It has. I mean, at the core of this is the standardized test. And what the AJC found is that in school districts where teachers are given rewards for score improvement, more cheating was likely to occur. Same thing happened when teachers were excessively punished for failing scores. They saw more cheating was likely to occur in those school districts. So it's definitely forcing the education system to decide whether this is working and whether other things need to be done. There are many school districts across the country who are named in this report who've already identified their cheating and are taking steps to curb it, to deal with it. For example, in Baltimore City Schools, this year they're hiring monitors to observe the tests.
So are the individual districts expected to use this information, as you just suggested, to improve, or to sit back and await the national argument conclusions on standardized testing?
Well, the AJC has presented its information to the different school districts. So many of these school districts this morning are discussing this because this story broke over the weekend. And so it's something that the school districts are going to have to face themselves. I think, though, as parents, for example, parents can go to the AJC's website, look up their school, and see what the results are. I think as parents start to see this information, there will be an outcry for something to be done.
We will link that site to 1190kex.com this morning. Steve Osunsami, ABC correspondent, thanks for telling us about it in Portland this morning.